One. All right, we are live. You already know what it is. It's the Don Colioni show. You already know what it is, man. Today we got a special guest coming up here. He was on the podcast before. Any OG subscribers, you guys already know. But without wasting too much time, let me introduce the special guest, Jamar Root.
Appreciate it. Love to be here. Glad to be here again.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely nice to have Jamar back on. Nice. It's a nice spring season.
Mhm.
Who better else to have on than Jamar Root? You know what I mean?
I don't know who else, to be honest.
For real, for real. So, like, for the people who don't know who you are, give us a synopsis of who you are and what you do.
Yeah, so I'm Jamar Rood. I'm a 23-year-old entrepreneur. I speak at schools all across the country. I'm an inspirational speaker. Just got back from Ohio yesterday, speaking at a school. So I travel the country speaking at schools, inspire students to find their passion and to use their voice in the classroom and in their communities. And then I also I'm the founder of my own podcast called The Root of Everything, which is a show and a podcast where I go through the day in the life of passionate individuals and I try it out with them. And then I also talk about finding your own passion and steps you can take to do that. So that's my main thing. I'm all about inspiring other people to find what they love to do.
That's proper. That's proper. That's what's up. I noticed you started a sports page now. Hey.
Yeah, it's kind of blown up. I'm not gonna lie. It's like my side thing, man. But we get like 1.5 million views a month. It's crazy.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah.
crazy. So, yeah, does Instagram give out like a revenue for like? Is it kind of like nah?
It's very like nah. But I do get so I am monetizing it through promotions. And so
Right.
people want to promote their stuff. Somebody wants to buy a badge during a live. Don't get much from that. But Instagram, nah, they be cheap. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. They're not like YouTube out here where they like give you like a
yeah. They
yeah.
be tripping, but it's all good.
That's what's up though. That's what's up. So what made you like start the sports stuff?
Yeah, man. So during COVID, I had always had an idea, not always, but I had this idea of kind of wanting to sell something, just my entrepreneurial mind going. And I had these wristbands, and then I was like, how do I market these wristbands? They were cool wristbands. They were for baseball players. They had like inspirational messages on them, motivational. And then I thought about, okay, I have all these quotes in my notes because, like, as an inspirational speaker, I just be having quotes that pop in my head. It's just part of my life. And so I had all these quotes together. I'm somebody who loves sports. And then I kind of just started seeing other pages kind of do it. But I always felt like other pages didn't implement all sports. Like they would just do football. They just do basketball. And I was somebody who watches all sports. So I was like, man, what if I do a page with quotes that does all of the sports? And I just bet, I was like, I bet if I did one with all the sports, because nobody had done it before, it would blow up. And it blew up. And I hit 10K in less than 6 months. Yeah, so it was like that. But it was also because I understood and worked on understanding social media for the past 4 years. And so it kind of all came together. And honestly, I'm not even really selling the wristbands anymore. I'm about to bring it back, but it just kind of shifted into its own thing. And so I'm kind of helping other people grow their own pages with the things I learned how I grew the page to 10,000 followers so quickly.
Okay. Like so you help other people grow their pages and stuff? Like do you have like a business for doing that? Or?
Yeah, I have my own consulting business. It's a program, 3 months. You come on and I'm taking you through all the steps to create your own theme page, all the things that I did to grow it so quickly. It's kind of like, I'm not gonna say it's guaranteed, but when you know how to look
Hold on, real quick. Let me just close the window real quick.
no, you're good. You're good. Yeah.
All the cards and stuff. But anyway, you were saying like so you have your own consulting.
Yeah, so I take people through a program where it has different phases. Basically, I'm giving you all the phases I went through, but in an easier way because you don't have to deal with the problems I dealt with. And it's literally how to find the content type, how to be able to post it consistently, without wasting a bunch of time. Like I go through everything in a 3 month span. And once you get done with me, it's just a matter of time, to be honest with you, because once you figure out what content works in your niche that you want to do, then you just got to be consistent and eventually your people are gonna find you.
Do you make content around this business? Around like
So I'm like, so the thing about me is I'm very particular about branding. So you never want to go against which you're made for. So my sports quotes page is about sports quotes, but I'll kind of put a story out there. Look, I'm doing this, or I'll put a quick post out there. But I haven't really started making content about all the things I know about growing on Instagram. It's a weird thing because I'm known for speaking on my personal page, and then I'm known for the quotes on my quotes page. It's like, how do I find that balance with branding it, and showing that I can do this, but not breaking down what I've already built? It's something I'm trying to figure out right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay, definitely. That's what's up. That's what's up. Now, I didn't know you were doing like consulting and stuff. That's crazy.
Yeah. I kind of just got into it, but I've already gotten some progress on it. It's pretty cool, and I love helping people. So it's a fun thing to do.
100%. Um, yeah. So in terms of like social media and stuff, like, do you find like so speaking of social media and stuff, you probably follow like Gary Vee, and he talks about this.
Oh,
Like,
big inspiration.
yeah, all the time. And I wonder, like, what's your take on like, because he talks about like right now he says like YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, and then I guess Facebook fan pages. Like, do you have like a specific like? Do you have one that you think like which one is the best? Like, is it like Facebook or?
Personally, I think I think personally for converting sales is Instagram.
Okay.
Instagram people are more willing to then trust you, if that makes sense. Like if I see a YouTube short, it could go and have more views, but am I going to do something after seeing it? TikTok, same thing. It's like it can go crazy, but are you really loyal to that person after watching a TikTok video, even if you follow them? Are you prone to go to their website? I feel like on Instagram, you might not get as much reach, which I've gotten a lot of reach from Instagram. I've had the most. Like I post the same stuff I post on Instagram, I post on TikTok, have 17, almost 18,000 followers, and I have like 3K on TikTok. Take that whatever you want. Maybe it's just my niche. But Instagram, I've had a lot of progress on it, but I've always felt like Instagram is better for converting. But my also point, and this is something Gary Vee will also say too, it's the same content type. Why not just post it everywhere? Just more shots at it going in. You know what I mean? Like it's all about consistency. It's all about putting up shots. It's all kind of luck. It's not luck, but a video going viral could only get you 10 likes today and you repost it tomorrow and then it goes crazy. It's crazy like that. And so I say post as much as you can on all these different platforms. You never know what'll pop for you.
Mm-hmm. That's facts, man. Like there's another concept too that I talked about this on the last podcast. Ironically, we talked about this concept of like this is a new concept that I've just trying to understand about like content creation. Is that I feel like I want to hear your take on this. Like I found like going viral is kind of like overrated, and it's more about like building like a community instead of
100%. I tell people all the time, one of the worst things you can ever do for your brand is to go viral for the wrong thing. Like, for example, if I go on my sports page and I'll go viral for something totally off brand, then I have all these new followers on my page, right? It's cool in the moment. But now my engagement rate goes super down because all the things I now post in the future, they're not going to rock with it. And now I'm not getting more shares. Now my reach is low. Now the algorithm isn't pushing my content. You want to build that community. Like for me on my sports page, people think it's the content while it is. It's also every single person that reshares one of my posts, I'm DMing them. And I get, and Don, I get hundreds of shares a day. Like, yeah, but I take my time every single day and say, yo, I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. And what happens? Yo, bro, I'm resharing every single post now. None of the other post pages respond to my shares. It's all about making your followers feel special. If they feel special, they'll do special things to you. So how do you expect your followers to purchase your course, to purchase your gear, if they don't feel special? You're just another page. But the moment you send them DMs out, you respond to all the comments, not only is it helping your engagement rate, but now you have somebody else that's willing to go the extra mile for you. And so the more people you have willing to do that, the quicker you'll grow.
So you respond to like every single like.
Well, I'm not gonna say I haven't missed one before.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But I make it a mission every day. Like for example, when I post, I sit down for 20 minutes and I'm just at this point it's copy and paste because I can't. It's that many.
Yeah.
I'm boom, 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 boom here for like 20 minutes, just like making sure everybody does it. And so, and it helps out.
Yeah, like at least the effort is there, right? Like, that's facts. Like, yeah, because that's something I'll definitely keep in mind because I've had like some people reshare my stuff, but I don't know. I've always just I'll like it, but I never like reach out and be like, hey, thanks for resharing. I should probably start doing that more.
Wait here, another level of building community. Somebody follows you, have it in your notes like a welcome message. Like have it in a welcome message. So like for you, if I was to tell you a suggestion, every time somebody follows you from seeing my repost on mine, be like, hey, thanks so much for following me. I tend to do podcasts on this, this, and this. This is my topic. So now they have access to everything. You know what I'm saying? They might have just liked one video, but now they know everything they can do. And they're like, yo, this dude reached out to me. I appreciate it. Let me check out the podcast. I do that for I don't do that for sport reminders anymore. It's impossible now. I only do it on resource. But when I was just starting out, hey, thank you so much for following us. I tend to focus on helping athletes being inspired before the games or whatever I say. And they're like, yo, thanks so much. Now you're an instant fan, you know?
So you did this until you reached about like, what was like a follower cap that you just...
I'd probably say I stopped doing the, I stopped doing the followers at like 10K. I think when I got close to 10K, then I even did it more because I'm like, let me get to 10K. But once I hit 10K and then I started having the million view months, yeah, I couldn't do, because what happened, people, it's funny, once you hit 10K, Instagram kind of changes a little bit. But like you don't even see all your followers. Like you don't see every new follower. Like it'll just kind of like, it's too much. Yeah, Instagram won't show it on your notifications. It'll just be like you had, more followers, but it won't even show you. So I can't even do it, to be honest. It's crazy.
That's insane. That one day I'm gonna reach that level, man. I'll reach that level. It sounds excited just hearing about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. It's like I remember I've grown like this is like my 4th page, right? The first one I hit 10K, but it's like I'm not gonna say it's overrated, bro, but like it's not like you hit 10K and then you're on the top of the moon. It's just like, oh shoot, I'm here, and then it's like, okay, well now we gotta hit 20K, and you just back to just making content. That's why it's so important to love the content you make, because I know a lot of people, when you start to grow a lot on Instagram, you start to like network, because people will network with you now. No, a lot of people, they hit these milestones but aren't still going because once they hit 10K, they had no reason to keep going. Because it's like, oh, I'm here. Now what? You know what I mean? Me, I love the content. I love my community. I'm on Instagram Live once a week. Boom. They love me. I love them. So we're just going to keep going.
That's what's up. I think that's, just loving the process. Like there's a quote, I heard it on this one podcast. I think, I don't know the guy's name. I don't know if it's his quote, but like he was on, I don't know if you've heard of Mind Pump podcast. But there's this guy, he says, the quote is,
the guy who walks.
Who enjoys the walk is better. He'll go farther than...
He's like the guy that wants to like walk 100 miles, or then the guy who just loves to walk will go further than the guy that wants something like that. Basically, if you like the process, your results will be further than you can imagine.
Exactly. Yeah. I took the words right out of my...
No, it's just, that's like one of those like quotes that like defines everything about me. So I definitely know what you're talking about.
100%. Let's see. I wanted to jump into like, so you just graduated, you finally graduated uni and stuff. And it was pretty inspirational to see you, you started talking at your, like, I think you were speaking at your school or something like that. Like after...
Yeah, I spoke in my, this high school I graduated. That was my first gig ever. I spoke at my high school. They gave me a chance. They took a chance on me, and I killed it. And if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have that video that allowed me to sell myself to all these schools I've spoken at across the country. So I'm super thankful.
100%. Like, so what was that experience like speaking in front of like your whole school? Like, were you nervous? Was it kind of like, how do you feel?
Man. So first, I ended up sticking my old school because I went to a volleyball game to see my little cousin play volleyball, and so I remember like the days before, my dad was like, you need to just go to your old school and just ask them if you can go speak. Because I needed to speak at a school to get the video, because you can't be a speaker without a video, without demo video. And so I was like, I know, but I don't want to speak in front of all my old teachers. I just don't want to do that. That's what I told my dad. And then literally I'm at my little cousin's volleyball game. I see one of my old coaches. I'm just talking to him. And he's like, Jamal, so what are you up to these days? I'm like, oh, I'm trying to be an inspirational speaker. And he was like, well, why don't you just come speak here? And I was like, dang it. Well, I couldn't say no. And so I said, all right. And so then I was just nervous for like 3 months up until the date or whatever it was. I had my boy, Nick, my camera guy, my partner. He's getting ready for it because I need him to shoot it well. And I remember we're just up there and then I'm just nervous. I've been nervous for months. And I just kind of put my faith in God, to be honest with you, and just said like, yo, you're prepared. This is your story. It's not like you have anything to like really think about. And I kid you not, once I said, I start all of my speeches out with saying, how many people here are tired of people asking them, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I saw all these kids put their hands up. I was like, oh, it's over. Like once I saw they were listening to me, because my number one thing was like, what if they don't listen to me? Once I saw they were listening, I was like, game over. And I got into flow state where I wasn't even thinking, it was just coming out of my mouth.
It was just, yeah.
Yeah. And it was just like boom. And then it ended and all these kids came up to me. Teachers were like, I just knew I made so much of an impact. And I was like, wow, this is what I'm gonna do for the rest of my life. It was just like, this is the greatest moment of my life. Dang near.
100%. Yeah, that's crazy. Just hearing that whole just I remember when I saw it, it was around last year this time when I saw you like in the video.
Yeah.
Just seeing how far you've like come, because like knowing your story and stuff, like how
Yeah.
you like I remember you were talking about like how you used to be like really shy, and then now you're like going to speak in front of your school. Like, oh wow, this guy really has like come a long way.
For sure. I'll even say like, was it 3-4 years ago? I was trying to speak on the camera and I couldn't do it. Like I've come a long way, bro. I just kept going one step at a time.
100%. And now you're like speaking at like based on what I've seen on like your Instagram and stuff, like you speak at different schools now. Like you travel to different. I think recently you were speaking at another. I think it was a high school. Was it high school?
It was a middle school in Ohio. I was speaking at 2 days ago, or was it yesterday? Yeah, it's a quick turnaround. But yeah, I was speaking. Yeah, I was speaking there 2 days ago. I'm speaking at a school locally on Tuesday. Next week I'm in New Mexico. No, at the end of next month, I'm in New Mexico, then New Jersey, then Lancaster, PA. Yeah, it's going, man. I'm speaking all over. It's gonna be dead in the summer though, but right back in August.
Oh yeah, because school is pretty much over and by that time. Yeah. So do you have any like advice for like public speaking? Like how do you even do that? Like that's something like even when I'm doing like group projects in like in university and I have to talk in front of people, like talking here is different. You know what I mean? Like, cause like I can't see the faces, like they're like pixels, right? But in person, it's a different. I feel like it's a different ball game. Like it's like just blank stares, you know?
Yeah. My number one advice for anybody who wants to be a public speaker, wants to get better at speaking, is to speak. You know, the way I got better at it was I got up on stages I wasn't supposed to be on. My freshman year of college, I was at a conference. I was a volunteer. I asked if I could just sit in on one of the panels. At the end of the panels, they said, anybody have any questions? I raised my hand and they pointed at me and I went up to the stage and just said a speech. I don't know why I did it. Something in my heart told me to do it. It was crazy, but I said my speech and I got a standing ovation. And I was like, wow, I did that. My sophomore year, I was at a conference. We were at a student conference and they needed somebody to speak up for the entire student conference to basically thank everybody at the adult conference for having us. I said, I'll do it without knowing how I was going to do it. And I did it. And I messed up some names. I just continued to fail and try. And eventually I got good at it. I think a lot of times we continue to say, well, what if I fail? No, you're going to fail. It's just about continuously getting over it and getting better. So I've just continued to speak. I've continued to do my podcast, even when I wasn't good at it. I've continued to get on stages, even when I wasn't good at it. And then eventually I just got good at it. But I actually loved it. So even when I was messing up, I was like, man, this was fun, you know? And so I got better at it. And so even if speaking isn't your thing, you want to get better at it, just speak. If you have a project coming up, say you're going to be the main speaker for it. And if you mess up, who cares? In 5 years, nobody's going to remember it. Like I messed up some people's names at that one of my speeches. We laugh about it now, you know, and now I'm an inspirational speaker traveling the country.
That's insane, man. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's definitely motivational. Real quick, I just see someone in the comments. Shout out DKT. He was on the podcast last year. You're gonna have him on soon, definitely. But yeah, back to you. Where you were saying, yeah, like definitely with like the public speaking and stuff. Like I think it's definitely one of those things where you gotta definitely you gotta keep trying it. You gotta keep going in and failing at it, because it's kind of one of those like cliche like things where it's like no one wants to hear it, but it's like it's what you have to do. You know what I mean? It's like it's kind of like I want to know. I feel like people want some secret like you gotta do this with your eyes, and you know you gotta like I don't know.
Well, I'll give you one secret. I'll give you one secret. Here's one that I use every single time that gets me over it. And for anybody that thinks I get on stage and I'm just like confident, I'm like good. Like I had my gig, I think it was yesterday. I have a bad track of time right now because I just do so much every day. But my last gig, on the flight there, on the ride, I am nervous. Am I going to mess it up? Like I am nervous every single time. I'm nervous. And like I'm nervous when they're introducing me. Jamar Rudy, he's from Dallas, Texas. I'm nervous the whole way. My number one thing I always say, I just need to see one kid, one person really listening to me, really feeling my message. And so I work my beginning of my speech. How can I get one person engaged with me? And once I have one person, I'm already successful. So whatever happens, I could mess up. It's already over. I was successful today. Somebody was impacted. And so I always try to focus on one person, make eye contact with one person. And
Mm-hmm.
if I see them like nodding their head, I'm like, oh, game over. And so just understand you're not supposed to reach everybody in a crowd. Somebody's going to doze off. Somebody doesn't care about what you're speaking. Think about the amount of times you heard a good speaker, but you just didn't feel like it. You didn't feel like listening. It's going to happen. So I tell anybody, just focus on one person. And then once you get them, focus on the next one. And even if they're not focused on you, you already got one, so you're successful already.
Facts. Like getting those small wins, getting those like small touches.
Facts. Yep.
Definitely. Yeah, that's crazy, man. Like that's like, yeah, definitely respect though. Like public speaking is like that's something that's
It's
like,
tough. Yeah.
like I definitely want to get better at that because it's like I feel like it's actually an important skill because like in
Extremely.
life,
Yeah.
whatever job you do, you're gonna. It's just a good skill to have. You know what I mean? Like,
I agree.
yeah, like
Valuable. Very valuable, and people will pay money for somebody who can do it because nobody else wants to do it.
yeah, like 100%. Like it's one of those things where it's like it even opens doors too because when someone will hear that speech and they'll be like, yo, we can book him for another thing, book him. You know what I mean? Like you probably had that experience, yeah.
Oh, already. I'm definitely having that experience.
Yeah, 100%. Another question I have was like, so we talked about the university. Let's say, yeah, let's jump into like for those of people who don't know like your story and stuff. Like, you used to be really shy, like from like beginning university, and then at the end you're like you have a podcast, you're speaking in front of people, all this other stuff. Like, what was like the journey like of like building up like I guess like confidence in yourself?
Yeah. I think it all comes from in the beginning sports. Like I take it all the way back to like elementary school. I was a shy kid. I didn't really even want to like I was a good kid, but I wasn't really like social, like crazy social. But sports was the one thing I learned to gain confidence for because I just always gave it my all, and I got pretty good at sports. I'm always a sports guy in school, and then I just kind of allowed that to get me better with socially with things. And then when it got to high school, it was just all through what I believed in. And so anytime I spoke up, it was through something I believed in. If you gave me something I didn't care about, I wasn't that outspoken about it. And so I think I got my confidence from just really diving into the things I cared about. I was the high school, one of the captains of my baseball team. I was speaking up for my team all the time. That gave me confidence. When I got to college, I also took a risk. So parts of confidence building is when you have to build confidence. It's easy to not be confident when you're in an easy, safe environment. If you're constantly being somewhere where you know you're going to be okay, you're not going to do something to grow. And so when I went to college, super far away from my home, I was like, I have to be successful. I can't waste this opportunity. And so what happened? I went to every opportunity. I was speaking up about myself. Even when I wasn't confident, I was just being confident because I had to. And so I think part of it, and probably most of it, was putting myself in uncomfortable positions. Like I said, getting on those stages, like those are super uncomfortable. But once I got up on them stages, I had to say something. You know what I'm saying? So like I always tell people, one of my best traits in life is the fact that I push myself into the pool. Even when I don't get in the pool, I'll push myself into the pool without knowing how I'm gonna swim. And then now I'm in the pool. Now I have to figure it out because I have to survive. If you can put yourself in survival mode sometimes, you'll see a lot more of yourself come out that you didn't even know was there. And so I constantly forced myself to be confident. I wasn't trying to be confident. I forced myself to be confident.
Mm-hmm. That's facts.
Yeah.
Definitely. I feel like there needs to be a lot more of like you know what I mean? Like a lot of this stuff, like a lot of like, like self-development and stuff. It's like a lot of people are looking for like these quick fixes, but really a lot of it just comes down to just throwing yourself out there. You literally have to just put yourself in these uncomfortable situations to just kind of like grow. Because like everybody's, like I said before, everybody's kind of like, I mean, there are little nuances, little tricks that you could use to aid you. By the end of the day, you just gotta just like a bird, jump though. You gotta leave the nest, you gotta see if you can fly,
Yeah, I think, we live in a world where we have our phones, we have TV, we have all these things where we can get things so quick, but there's certain things that's just not the case, and it will never be. You may be able to search on Google something and get it quickly, or go into ChatGPT and get it quickly, But your personal growth is forever going to be a long game, forever. Like there's things I was working on 4 years ago that finally got to the point I want them at now, but it's because I took one step every single day. I think a lot of people never reach their goals and never reach these things they want to achieve with themselves because they're rushing to achieve them instead of just saying, I'm going to take one step every single day. If you sprint at it for 1 week, you're then going to quit because you already worked too hard. You have to pace yourself and understand it's not about the destination, it's about the process. And so for me, with my personal development, I always knew what I wanted to do, but then I was thinking about ways to get there that wasn't crazy. You know, I wasn't trying to build Rome in a day. You feel me? And so I was just day by day, let me get better at this. Like even my daily routine is still a constant like adjustment. Like I figured out, okay, I got to do this in the morning, this afterwards, and being successful in it. And then saying, oh, wait, I'm not being that efficient in this part of the day. Let me fix this. Like it's constant. Like there's never an end to personal development, personal growth. And so I think people looking for a cheat, they're only going to continue to cheat themselves. And they'll just end up in the same spot they're in looking for another answer on a podcast when honestly, just do the work. Just do the work. It's that simple. The only cheat code to success is consistency. That's it, you know?
100%. Just being consistent.
Yeah.
And what your craft is and all that good stuff. Another topic I wanted to bring up too is like this topic is like it's kind of like a huge. I talked about it too in my last podcast. It kind of fits into what we're talking about, like building confidence in public speaking, about like caring what people think and stuff like that. It's one of those things where like I feel like like caring what people think and like I feel like it's one of those things where it's like we all naturally are gonna like you said, like even when you travel to these interviews and stuff, you'll feel nervous, right? But I feel like it's getting to a point where it's like that nervousness, it doesn't affect what you desire to do. You know what I mean? Like over like kind of be like living with it, but like being okay with like that, like yeah, like you might care what these people think, whatever, but you're still it's not affecting you to a point where you're not going to pursue what you want, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like I'm very much one of those people that are like, what's the point of caring what people think? Like I'll say it. Like I remember, so literally yesterday I had my speech, right?
Yeah.
And I'm talking about the importance of being yourself, not really caring what other people think. And then I get back here and then I felt myself just caring about other people's judgment of me. I'm like, Jamar, what are you doing? You just spoke about this. But I think the number one thing you got to do isn't not care what other people think, because that at a totality is impossible. You can, put it down a little bit, but you're never fully not going to care what people think. It's about prioritizing your own self-love, your own goals, your own self-belief over their opinions. So when I'm doing something, when I want to make a career change, when I want to do something I love, yes, I might care that my parents might think this, and that. But what do I think? And just putting that above what everybody else thinks. And so you're going to care about it. Just make sure you care about your own opinion more than other people's.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I don't get affected by it. So like maybe I'm like, man, that one person isn't liking me for doing this. But it's all about perspective, because there's 1,000 people that are. So like with me and my public speaking, when I first started, I was doing little Instagram stories on my phone. I'd post some inspirational things. I thought I was maybe being weird, and people would like comment and be like, yo, what do you think you're doing, bro? I would get that stuff. But there was all these people that were also inspired by it that I didn't know, that hadn't really gave me that comment yet. And so if you can always fix your perspective, you will always be able to stay positive about yourself, because no matter what the negativity is, you also know there's positivity. Everything is yin and yang. And so if you can always have a positive perspective, it'll be able to fix whatever you're going through and prioritize it in the right way, because there's always somebody who's hating. There's always somebody that's loving what you're doing without you even knowing.
100%. Like I feel like that what you just said there about like when in this like content creating thing, like there's people out there who are like inspired by what you're doing, but like people, it's funny because the people who are inspired, they're kind of quiet about it. They're kind of like they it's like they're kind of shy in a way to like say like, oh, you inspired me. It's more it's crazy because I feel like the haters are a little bit more louder too. You know what I mean? Because like they're more like, what are you doing, bro? Why are you posting that? You know what I mean? Like, but that's definitely motivation to keep going, because you could be inspiring someone you don't even know it. Like they could be just like a secret admirer just looking at you, be like, like this guy, because of this guy, I want to keep going, or I like his content. So,
and I also say, like, this is somebody who receives probably like 30, like, man, you have no idea. Like, your quotes are changing my life. I get that on a daily basis. I want y'all to know there's no number where it goes away. Like, there's no point of followers, views, people saying, yo, I'm so proud of you. Keep going. Your content inspires me. There's no number where you're fulfilled off of it. And I know that's a harsh reality, but that's a fact. And to be honest with you, once you receive all of it, it's kind of tainted because it's almost so much you don't appreciate it as much. Like, I get it. I'm just like, yo, I appreciate it. Like, it doesn't even affect me anymore because I get it so much. And so it's so important to really love what you're doing, because the purpose isn't really for you. Somebody's being inspired for that. Like, somebody being inspired by your content isn't really for you, it's for them. The reward is you doing the process. And so regardless if you have all the followers, all the views, all the comments, that's cool. That's still not where the fulfillment is. And even if you get no likes, no comments, the fulfillment doesn't matter in that anyway. So just love what you're doing, because regardless, the results aren't what going to fulfill you. And I know that was hard for people to understand, for me saying that before I had all the views, all the comments, but now I'm somebody that does. And I promise you, you could have the same amount of views and stuff I have, millions of views every day. I mean, every month. It's not fulfilling. I'm sorry. Like, it's a good feeling when you get those first couple comments, and it's a great thing. But it's all about loving what you're doing, because just as many people will say that, you might get a negative. You can't rely on it, because tomorrow Instagram could be shut down and all my followers are gone. Am I now going to be sad? No, I'm going to just start making content again on another platform and doing what I love to do.
100%. Like, you goes back to that, just enjoying the journey, the walk, because like the accolades, the fame, and all that stuff, like, it'll feel good, I guess, for like a week or so, but if you're not fulfilled, what's it for, right?
Yep. Like, I got off the stage, had all these kids like, Jamar, thank you so much, all that. And then, to be honest, I started off my day bad today, and I started feeling bad. It doesn't last that long. There are moments. I tell people, prioritize the long-term part of your life, not just moments. There's people that spend their whole lives building up for a moment, and then they have this great moment, but then what do they do for the rest of their lives? Because they thought this one achievement would fulfill them. They thought winning a championship, whatever it may be, I'm gonna be happy it doesn't work like that. It's the process that allows you to be happy. And so if you spend your whole life waiting for that moment, you'll be disappointed after about maybe a couple days, because now the process isn't valuable to you. It was just about reaching that goal. And the goal is only going to take you so far in terms of fulfillment.
100%. That's facts, man. Like, yeah, like, even myself, like, I feel like, obviously, have these goals. I'm like, yeah, once I hit 100K subs, 100K followers, right? But I always try to like appreciate, like, even now, like, even though now, like, I'm still kind of like small, right? I'm like, you know what? Even though this only got like 100 or so views, like, I kind of think of it as like, I saw this other creator. He said this thing, Alex Hormozi. I don't know if you.
I'm familiar.
Yeah, but he says this thing where like, when he was just getting 100 views, he'd be like, you know what? This is like 100 people who like came to watch my thing. Like, you could like, you just appreciate the little wins, and like, and just really like enjoying like the process of like growing.
Facts, man. Facts.
I think it's facts. Another topic I wanted to touch on is let's jump into like the root of everything stuff. So you're still currently doing root of everything, eh?
Yeah, man. So I'm just repurposing content on it on Instagram, but I'm literally filming season 3 of it next month. And so it's been something that I don't want to say it's been on the back burner, but it's been something I'm kind of trying to take to a new level. And so I've been building the foundation with my speaking business, building the foundation with this sports quotes page in my consulting business. And now it's time to bring Root of Everything back, a new season. I got a new producer, a new cameraman. And so we've been just like really learning how to work with each other. And our chemistry has been really good now. And so now it's time. And I'm excited for it, man. But the first 2 seasons are out. It's just been like a year and a half since we came out with anything. And so, but it wasn't for no reason. It was because I was like, I got to work on being able to sustain myself as an entrepreneur. Like, I quit my job maybe like 10 months ago and went full time. And I was like, okay, I got to figure this out. Like, it wasn't no game here. This was life. And so now I'm like, okay, I'm making money now. And so now it's like, let's get Root of Everything going. Cause that's the long game, man. Like, Root of Everything is the long game. That's what I feel like I'm going to be known for the most. And so, it's kicking back up right now as we speak, literally like in a month, filming like 7-8 episodes. I already have 1 finished and edited. just want to have all the content done for one season so we can post it every single week from there.
Yeah. I like that. It's kind of like the way you talk about it, like it's kind of like a production thing. Like, you got to film the 13 episodes and then you release them out. Like, I think that's a smart way to go about it because, like, yeah, like, because if you do, like, I mean, you can still do it the way where it's like you just post an episode and you kind of wait a bit until you find another guy. But the way you're talking about it, it does seem a little bit more organized. Like, it's more of like an actual like production, like a kind of like a TV show in a way.
Yeah, that's the thought process. Because at the end of the day, I'm a busy person. You feel me? And I started with everything in college, so I just knew I couldn't do every week or just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I said, let me just do seasons, and then it's just like a whole like, hey, we're back season, and then boom. Especially with the show element of me like going through the day in the lives, it's just unreasonable. And so, but I am starting to do certain episodes that are just podcasts for people that, maybe don't want to do a whole day in the life about themselves. And so it'll allow for a little bit more consistency. And so it's gonna be dope. But I am also starting a Root of Jamar podcast. So I have the Root of Everything podcast where the first season it was just me speaking and it was like 10 steps to find your passion. And then it went into interviews. I think me just speaking on that is done, like being by myself. Me interviewing is now the brand of Root of Everything. That's the brand. It's showing other people's passions. I think me talking on like a weekly basis is something that I think I underrated myself a little bit for. Like, I think I was always thinking, oh, Root of Everything, what sets it apart is the day in the lives. And then when I had my new producer and we're kind of filling each other out, and he's like, man, Jamar, like the day in the lives are great and everything, but like you realize you're like the star of this show. Like, you're amazing. Like, you can interview, you can talk, like, dude, you're top notch. And I was like, for real, you think that? I think I wasn't fully valuing myself. And it's been a process I've been going through for a while and just really realizing it. Like, I am that guy a little bit. And so I was like, dang, like these people probably want me to speak. So I've started posting the clips on my Instagram. You see, I've been posting every single day, me speaking like in this format. And so now I'm like, I think it's time for the Root of Jamar podcast, like where I just come on here and I'm giving weekly. So we can't go Root of Everything every single week. But if you want to hear Jamar talk inspirationally about what he's going through and then maybe some sports topics, you can come see me because I'm good at it now. And so I think in the next month, you'll probably see the Root of Jamar pod drop soon. And it'll be a weekly podcast just of me talking and then answering some questions from the audience. So I'm excited.
Mm-hmm. I would definitely tune in for that, bro. Like the Root of Jamar, like because I've seen those small clips that you put on Instagram and they actually pretty fire. Like you see the passion in your voice. I was like, oh shit, this guy going in. Like,
yeah, I ain't gonna lie, those are like it's funny. I like to expose myself, but like those aren't like real podcasts. Those are just like me setting up my phone and just putting it here, and the mic don't even be connected. It's funny, but yeah, and just to give it the look, and it does better on the Instagram algorithm. But so now I'm like, all right, I gotta do the full episode now. I can't just be faking it. And so that's coming. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Like even then, even if they're just like, you know what I mean? Like I still feel like those clips are valuable. Even myself, like when I watch them, because it's like a reminder to be like, because sometimes like, you learn new things and then you're like you forget, and then sometimes those small clips are nice just as like a reminder to be like, all right, like this is what I'm about, like.
Yeah, like for me, I'm in my apartment. And literally, the moment I have an idea, I just like boom. Like I keep my little studio, like my lights, I keep it like set up. So whenever I have an idea, I can just sit down here and say it, and then boom, I got. Like sometimes I'll come sit right here, right, and I'll make my content in a matter of 30 minutes. Make my content for the rest of the week in like 30 minutes because I just sit down here and I just talk for a second, and boom, content. Podcast is the easiest way to make content, bro. Just clip it up. It's funny.
Oh yeah. That's the thing about content creation too. Just about like you could like make like a 30-minute thing, cut it up into little clips, and just spit them out there.
Facts,
which is nice. Yeah.
Dang, I just realized we matching today, bro.
Yeah, we're low key. Yeah. I just took that in the black shirt. You know what is nice about a black tee? A black tee.
Can't go wrong.
You can't go wrong with it. You're going out somewhere. Black tee. Going to the store. Black tee. If you don't know what you want to wear, I'm gonna throw in a black tee. Maybe add a little change. The black tee. Telling you, like, people don't sleep on the black tees, bro.
Very.
And it don't even gotta be expensive. Like you can go to Walmart for $5.
This is one of them cheap Hanes, man, but it looks great.
For real, bro. That's what's up. Another question I was gonna ask you too is so yeah, we talked about Root of Everything. We talked about the sports stuff. So now I want to jump into like, what does life look like for Jamar right now? So right now, like, kind of tell us about like So now you've graduated university and whatnot. So right now you're producing the Root of Everything podcast, and like what kind of stuff are you up to on like a daily basis? Like, what's life look like for you right now?
Yeah, life is selling myself speaking wise. So I code call 20 schools a day.
Mm.
First thing I do after I do my morning routine. Well, actually, I respond to emails from schools I've already cold called, but I'm calling 20 schools every single day, no matter what. Not gonna lie, I slept today, but for the most part, every single day. That's because I'm tired from my gig yesterday. But I'm calling schools every single day, and then I'm usually doing a side project right after that. And so that side project right now is me working on my consulting business, figuring out how I want to really position it. Then it's like lunch, and then it's like maybe some errands, and then it's officiating sports. So I officiate sports on the side just to get some side income, especially when I'm waiting on a gig or maybe it's a dry month. You never know. But I officiate baseball and volleyball. The season actually ended like last week, but that's also what I do. So I'm just literally working on, and then it's also like creating content constantly. So hopping and sitting in this chair right here, making content, being creative, going outside, going for a walk, and just thinking.
Yeah.
Um, I think being an entrepreneur, one of the most important things you can do with your schedule is a lot of time to be creative. And that's how I've gotten here. That's how I have sport minders. I literally just go in. I used to be back home and I would just go in the backyard and just think. And I was like, oh, shoot, sports quotes. Now it's 18,000 followers, And so I'm big on like doing the daily task of like my morning routine and my reaching out to schools. And then it's like, so calls with schools. So once I have interest, then it's like kind of expanding and then dates and like how much I charge. So doing that. And then I'm preparing to write my book. So
Oh shit.
yeah, so I literally have a notes tab on my phone that's forever. And basically it's gonna be, I don't know if I'm gonna call it root of everything, but basically it's like how to find your passion and find success through it through my life. And so it's literally all the steps I believe you have to do to find your passion in a chapter, and all the steps to find success through your passion. Basically that's like the part 2 of the book. And then basically it's gonna be written like a speech each chapter. All
Hmm.
my speeches are problem, story, problem, story, problem, story. And
Hmm.
so, struggling to be yourself, this is a story from my life. And then how I did it, solution. And so I'm preparing, once I get my consulting business finished, I get through my last gig, which I'm speaking at a graduation in Lancaster, PA. I do that one and I film season 3 of Root of Everything. And it's like, okay, let's write this book. I think it's gonna be my legacy because I really want people to know I really knew all this stuff at 23. Like I feel like I have a lot of wisdom, a lot of knowledge that is crazy, and it's spread off in my content. And like if you get to know me, you be like, yo, this dude knows some stuff. And I'm not really, it's not a big deal that people know, but it's like I'll write this book and I really write down all the stuff I think I know that's really changed my life. Um, I think after I die, it's like, dang, at 23, this is what this kid got to. Like I have insane stories. Like we just talked about stories like me jumping on the stage as a freshman in college. Like that's wild stuff. I want to talk about that in my book. Me getting on the stage at my thing, me playing baseball and having this moment that allowed me to gain my confidence. Like I want to write all this stuff down and really just like have that legacy. And I think it just would be valuable, to put
Hmm.
all of it together. It can seem like it's sporadic, all my ideas and things, but it's really very organized. It's just I have to put it together.
100%. A book, that's definitely something big, bro.
Yeah.
I feel like that's gonna change a lot of lives, especially right now when you're doing speaking at schools and stuff. I feel like that's gonna change like a lot of lives because I feel like right now I've noticed this in like my like going through the K-12 kind of route. Like there's a lot of like kids nowadays. I think this probably, I don't know what it was back then, but I feel like nowadays it's like nobody really knows what they want to do. You
Yep.
know what I mean? They don't really know, like, you know what I mean? They don't really, they feels like they don't really have options because everybody in the world's gonna tell them what they have to do. You should do this, you need to do this, you need to do that, but no one really has an idea of what they want to do. There's a lot of misdirection. And I feel like definitely with that book, it might give people some clarity. And especially since you're already speaking at these schools, and then when you should release that book, you'll be like, oh yeah, I remember Jamar. Let me pick up this book because like I feel like that'll definitely have like a positive like impact on people in like the long run. Just in figuring out like just look direction. I feel like that's what the world kind of lacks is like especially like young people just lack like direction.
I agree. And that's my mission, man, is to give them that direction. Like every time I go and talk to those schools and I say, how many people are tired of people, ask them what they want to be when they grow up, or basically just, or trying to figure out what they want to be and stuff. And everybody's raising their hand. And to be honest with you, when I was in high school, I'm raising my hand. Nobody is being told that you don't have to have it all figured out. Like, I think we have pressure. Like, you turn 18, what are you going to do? You know what I'm saying? And then even if you do say something and then you go about doing it, then you really get into that job, you realize, yo, this is stupid. Or, yo, I chose this job because it makes a lot of money. But what if I miserably hate my life? How valuable is that? Like, we're not talking about these things. We're not talking about, my life versus somebody else's. Like, there's somebody else that's making more money than me, but I bet they're not as happy as me. I bet they don't have freedom. Like me, a friend had a birthday party in New York. Maybe I shouldn't say that, but basically, but no, it's just because but basically, I had something I wanted to go to, and it was I would have had to leave during work hours.
Okay.
I got my work done. I could go. Had a little extra money. I could go. I want to go help my mom back home. She wants to do gardening or something. I don't know. I'm throwing some random. I can go. That freedom is something that you can't tap into. I'm not saying everybody needs to be an entrepreneur, but I'm saying doing something you love to do and really looking at all angles with things. You know what I mean? Is a need, because I think a lot of us were just taught, go to college, get a job. Oh, job's hard. That's life. Welcome to adulthood. Like, no, I want to be a kid my whole life. I want to travel the country. Like, I go to my gigs, I speak, and then I'm traveling on their dime. I'm going to Ohio State and looking at the campus. I'm going to Denver and I'm going around looking around Denver. I'm in LA. I'm looking around LA. I'm going to be a kid my whole life. I ain't going to let nobody, I ain't going to let the money, I ain't going to let the government, I ain't going to let nobody not allow me to have fun with my life that's so limited. I only get so much time. Why? So I can fit in with the norms. What does that do for me? And so I think people just need to be exposed that, like, you can actually be happy. Adulthood isn't sadness. It's just what you make it out to be. And sometimes you're going to have to grind a little bit, be in that dark, and be kind of sad for a little bit. I'm not going to lie. When I took my opportunity to come down here and quit my job, it was a little sad for a while, but it was sad with opportunity. I was sad, but I saw the light at the end of the tunnel. A lot of people living in sad with no light at the end of the tunnel. They're just accepting the horrors of life, of just being okay. I'm not accepting that ever. And I hope the whole world wakes up and understands they don't have to accept it either.
Facts. That's definitely powerful, man. Like, that idea of just like, I like what you said at the end there, where it was like, even though like, things aren't going your way, you know what I mean? Like, it might be tough. Like, you still have that, like, I guess you could say that kind of hope in a way, but it's like, it kind of pushes you. Like, it's a motivator, you know what I mean? Like, even though it's like, shoot, like, I want to make this vision or this thing work, but it like pushes you to like keep going. Like, I feel like it's something I've been thinking about on my mind a lot too. Is like, you gotta be grateful for like the hard times, because it's motivated, right? Like, I feel like this guy I follow, his name is I don't know if you follow Valuetainment, if you heard of.
Yeah, I have heard of that. Yeah.
Yeah, Valuetainment. Like, they talk like the host of that show, Patrick David, he talks about this idea of like, you need like enemies or whatever, like not enemies, but like motivators. Like, for example, like not having for example, in your case, like not having a job, or like, you know what I mean, quitting your job and stuff like that. That situation is like a form of an enemy. Like, it's something you got to overcome. Like, you know what I mean? Like, finding obstacles, finding something to like to strive toward. Like, you know what I mean?
Like, something like, oh, they don't think I can do it. Like, that's like an enemy to push yourself. Yeah. I agree to an extent.
Okay.
Yeah, like I always say, like, the greatest inspiration is inside of you. So like for me, I truly love speaking. I want to work hard so I can do that as much as possible. I think relying on things outside of what's inside of here is not something that's you can always use, because you can't always depend on it. Yeah. I say, let me use those bad things, whatever it may be, to grow. So like when I go through bad things, it's like, this is going to allow me to grow. This is going to allow me to learn. I don't particularly like wake up and I'm like, they don't believe in me, or I quit my job. That's not me. You have your own ways of getting to your goal. Go ahead. But my philosophy has always been like, man, if you love what you're doing, you're going to outwork anybody, because you working it isn't like, oh, I got to do this. No, it's like right now, this is like, we're creating content right now. I'm having fun. This is not work. And so while there may be somebody else who's grinding for a goal similar to me, whatever it may be, if they don't enjoy it, they're just not going to last as much. And even if they are doing it as much as I am, they're not going to be able to have the swag I'm going to have because they're not doing it from the pureness of their heart. And so that's great, especially in certain situations, to have like that enemy, especially if you're doing something you don't like doing. But the best motivation and inspiration will always just be you. Like,
yeah, 100%.
Like doing it. So, like, I don't know. Like, I always just like, maybe I hear something, but I'm like, I don't care. Like, I don't even if it could be one of those things, I don't even use it. Because it's just like, I already got the biggest one ever. And I'm just being Jamar Root, you know? So that's my take.
That's facts. That's facts. Like, yeah, like, it kind of reminds me of like, you know what I mean? It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, when you're like, you got two people, you know, working at the same goal, right? And then the one guy he's having fun or whatever, but the other guy's like, he doesn't enjoy it. I think, yeah, like it literally goes back to that same quote, who enjoys the process.
Yeah. Facts.
Crazy.
I mean, you get that one now. You understand that concept, man. I'll be honest. The rest take care of itself. Like if you want that one thing where it's like, it'll take, because if you're passionate, if you love the walk, man, you'll just go about the internet and just try to figure it out. Like the person who needs to figure it out will figure it out better than the person that wants to figure it out. And so when you're passionate about it, you're just not going to stop until you figure it out. And so you can do anything. It's just a matter of being audacious enough to go out there and just to figure it out, to spend your whole life to figure it out. There's no limit to any of us. So just being bold enough to go for it.
100%. Now, I got about 2 more topics I want to touch on with you. This one topic I was going to ask this question. I feel like you're the perfect person to ask
I'm ready.
This question, exactly, this topic. And it's something I wanted to talk about. I've talked about it briefly on the podcast before, like last year, actually, in the summertime. And when I was editing the clips, I was like, man, like this is a topic I want to bring back. And I thought about it. You're the perfect person probably to ask this topic to. So this is basically, and I'm noticing a culture right now because nowadays, like people are starting to realize, like, you know, the university route is like not the only way to make it and stuff. And there's like, you know, new things about entrepreneurship and stuff. And I feel like there's a culture of people who will be like, you know, they're like screw 9 to 5s, like 9 to 5s, like that. They kind of bash 9 to 5s. And then you still got some of the old school guys like, no, 9 to 5 is the way. And some people, you got the entrepreneurship, screw 9 to 5s. Like, what's your kind of take on that? Like, what do you think?
Yeah. The answer is everybody's answer is different. The answer is success isn't a definition that you can find in the dictionary. Success is the answer you find inside. And so everybody not only has a different goal, but they have a different way of getting there. And so if you want to make $100,000, 2 people can have the same goal, but those 2 people can't get there the same way. So you could have a job that makes $100,000, but this person absolutely hates 9 to 5. They can't get to $100,000 that way. But this person loves that job. They'll get to $100,000. And so understanding that we're all different and we all have different goals, and even if we have the same goal, we're going to get there differently. And so there's no answer to which one it is. It's about doing that inner work. You see what I'm saying? I think we live in a society where we're trying to generalize everything when everybody's different. There is no answer. Everybody's trying to be controversial. You should do this. You should do that. Who are you? That's what you should be asking yourself. You feel what I'm saying? And then like then you'll start to figure these things out. Like I went to college. If I was to go about life again with the stuff I know, I wouldn't go to college. But did I need to go to become the person I am today? Yes. So like there's different scenarios for everybody. Like we're just being honest. College costs money. Do you have the money? Do you want to be in loans? Like, is your career a path you have to have a degree in? It's not that complicated. Is college kind of crazy how much they price it? And is some of the education kind of pointless? But are some jobs, don't you just kind of need a degree? Yes. Like there's answers to all these questions, but there's no general answer. And so I don't fixate any of my time really trying to find what's the general way to do anything when I understand I'm one of a kind. Every single one of us is so one of a kind. Nobody is like you. And so don't ask anybody about what they would do when they're not living your life. You have your life. What are you going to do with it? So if you're trying to figure out if I'm going to go to college, if I'm going to do a 9 to 5, if I'm going to be an entrepreneur, start reflecting on your past. Like for me, I was talking to my dad yesterday. I was like, I kind of had signs of being an entrepreneur a long time ago. I just didn't realize it. Like I used to like play this Madden mobile game on my phone, and I got really good at it, and I would get all these coins, and I would flip it for like $300 every year, because I was just good at it. I was born to be an entrepreneur. You feel me? I always have ideas. I used to walk around as a kid, and I'd be like, what if somebody could do this, do that? I was born to be an entrepreneur, but I constantly had said, people told me, go to college, do this, do this. Then when I got to COVID, it was like, yo, I can try all these ideas out. And then I became an entrepreneur. But I had to start really thinking about my life. The thing that changed my life, is when I started Root of Everything. And you know why? Because to start Root of Everything, I decided to come out with the 10 steps to find your passion. And I had to have stories behind it. And so every day I reflected on myself. And then I started to realize who I truly was. And then when you realize who you truly are, then you can kind of make a guideline to where you want to go. It's hard to figure out how to get somewhere when you don't know what's your best strengths to go anywhere. If you don't know you can run long distances, you don't know that you could just start running instead of walking. Like, you won't know these things unless you learn about yourself. And so then, to make the answer to the general question, 9 to 5 or college, or like just entrepreneurship, I think you have to really start understanding which each are. Like, there's people out here preaching entrepreneurship, but they're not preaching the dark side. Like, oh, freedom, like I was just talking about, and they're preaching like all these things. But are you prepared to work 24/7? Like, you know what I mean? Like me, I'm working all the time. I like it. Don't get me wrong. I like it. Not everybody would like that. And there's some days I'm chilling. Like today, I said I'm gonna be chilling today because I worked hard yesterday. I can do that. But before I hit this level of entrepreneurship, I couldn't really do this. And so people don't always explain all these lifestyles. People don't explain how I can have a bunch of sales. I'm making a lot of money this month, and then next month it's the summer, and I'm like, oh shoot, what am I gonna do? They don't explain that. But at 9 to 5, you can guarantee that money coming in. You can guarantee certain things. Not only that, but your schedule is almost mapped out for you. Like me, as an entrepreneur, I have no boss. So there's nobody on my tail. So in the morning, when you have a job and you're like, dang it, I got to get to work by 9 or else my boss is going to be on my butt.
Yeah.
Now it's like, back of my head, like, Jamar, you really don't got to get up. You can get in a little bit. I could just stay in, but then my business is going to plummet. But I can do it. It takes a certain type of person to be an entrepreneurship. I tell everybody, I think everybody should try to be an entrepreneur in some way. Everybody should have a side gig. They should try it, because you don't want your job, something happen with your job, and then you just ain't got nothing. But not everybody's meant to be a full-time entrepreneur. That's just facts. It's just not what it is. Like, we wouldn't be anywhere if it wasn't for our teachers in elementary, middle school. They're not entrepreneurs, but they're some of the superheroes of this world. It's all about figuring out who you are. And then when it comes to 9 to 5, there's some great benefits to it, man. You get all these benefits. You get your insurance paid for. You get all these benefits. Like, come on, it's a great thing. I had a job, and it was great, to be honest with you. One of the things that allowed me to know I was an entrepreneur, I had probably the best job ever, and I still was thinking about my dreams all the time. But did I have great people around me? Did I have socially people around me? Like, people don't also talk about this as a social entrepreneur, like as a digital entrepreneur, someone that's a consultant online, all this stuff. I can go weeks without talking to nobody sometimes. Like, can you handle that? Like, there's all these things that entails entrepreneur. You have to be able to keep your books together, be able to like pay yourself from your business, but then keep this money for any expenses. Like, you just having to think about all this stuff while with the as a 9 to 5. Okay, I know I'm getting this amount of money every month. This is my rent. It gets very simple. There's all these different obstacles. So it just depends on who you are, man. Like, there's no way to say which one's better. But I think the 9 to 5, the college route is becoming a lot less valuable, because you can get the college degree and still not get a job, and so it's becoming more and more less of a sell. I think society needs to figure out a way to make it a little bit more affordable, because it's hitting a point where it's just flat out not making any sense for people. Like, why would I go into that much debt to make 60,000? And so back in the day when our parents were around, they could go get that degree and it was good. You feel me? And so I think it's an element of that is there, but at the end of the day, it's a very personal decision, a very like, look into yourself and figure it out for yourself.
100%. Like, it's definitely like you got to figure out what works for you, what's like your goals and all that good stuff. Like, it's actually ironic. Like, I was in the barbershop today, and that's cut. But like, I heard these two guys. They were talking about kind of something similar. Like the guy was saying, like, yeah, he was trying to go back to school for business, and the other dude, his homie or whatever, was telling him like, you might as well just like, why even go for business? Because it's just very general. It's not going to
Yeah.
teach you anything about business. You might as well just like learn a skill set and then what's it called?
Monetize
Match
it.
that skill set, then started. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Become an entrepreneur that way and shit. And then I don't know. It was an interesting conversation to hear, and then that's why I kind of thought about it. Oh, before the podcast, I should probably ask him some
Yeah,
about.
and I also say, man, love my college experience. The 4 years I was there, loved it. On the, I couldn't be more thankful. But I'd probably say in terms of actual, what's the word, like business acumen or like skills sets and stuff like that. Like in terms of like in the industry, whatever you want, I learned more on YouTube, flat out. The stuff I learned in college was outside the classroom, dealing with people, meeting all these different types of people, networking. That's what college was for me. Classroom, I mean, all that stuff's on the internet. It's just somebody relaying it back to you, to be honest with you, and then them just giving you projects. Um, and then you just have this paper that says you're smart. So, yeah, I like, and I'm speaking at a college, like a senior banquet, literally on Tuesday, telling them about the college experiences and like telling them it's going to be a great experience. But like, if you don't make it, it isn't anything. Like, if you don't make something of it, you're just going to have a piece of paper. The only way to truly be successful in college is doing all that stuff outside of college. So it's flat out like networking, all that stuff. But
Yeah.
YouTube, I got a degree from YouTube too. You know, that 18K on Sport Reminders is thousands of hours of learning on YouTube, thousands of hours of learning on Instagram, like flat out, man. So you can get your education from anywhere. You can find one person and it could be more valuable than college.
That's facts. Like, yeah, definitely. Like, I feel like definitely like there's different ways you can be successful in this world. Like, whether it's going to college or 9 to 5, it's really like you said, like finding what it is you want to do. Like, no matter what society, remove everything. Like, what is it you really want to do at the end of the day? That's right.
Man, you gotta look in your heart, man. Every greatness you see, if anybody sees of me, is behind a big decision where a lot of people said I was making the wrong decision, but I decided to just trust what was in here. Yeah, like man, I quit my job with the opportunity of even a better promotion. I just said no, and people thought I was crazy. But this is something beyond logic. Like I think a lot of times we use logic in our life, but forget this thing right here is beyond it. Like our heart, our passion produces things beyond logic. Everything that was once impossible is now possible because somebody followed their heart. And so you can use logic all you want, but then you're going to miss out on the thing that goes beyond it. And that's your heart. That's what you love to do. That's who you love. And so I pride myself on always following my heart because it's brought me to spaces and goals beyond my imagination. You know, me speaking at those schools, I could have never thought that was possible. Nobody in my life was an inspirational speaker, but my heart told me I was. And now I am one, so it's pretty cool.
That's facts. That's facts. Switching gears a little bit, though. I know you be watching Power. I've seen the stories, bro.
Hey, man, I'm about to watch the new episode tonight.
Yeah, same here. Right after this, take care, bro. Yeah. What's your thoughts on the new Power, though? What you think about it? Like,
I think it's amazing, man. I think bold take. I think Power Book Ghost is better than the original Power.
Book 2.
Yeah, I think Power with Tariq is better. It's just amazing, man. Like every single episode is filled with surprises. Like I feel like I watched other shows and they're great and they're having this development, but every single episode, I'm like, yo, that just happened. Like that just happened, bro. And like, I don't know about anybody else, but like when I'm watching Tariq, I feel like I'm living as Tariq for like an hour, you know? And so I'm just like, Effie, forget you. Like I'm dealing with, I feel like I'm living it, man. I love it, man. It's funny because me and my grandfather both watch it. Like my grandfather's into it.
Yeah.
He called me right after finishing, like, what'd you think? And we just talked for like 45 minutes because it's just that good, man. We got people like they Snowfall. I watch Snowfall too. I ain't got caught up yet. But man, that Power Book Ghost, man. It's amazing. It's just amazing.
Do you think Jameson Patrick is alive?
Yeah,
Or you think he's still alive?
100%. Okay, here's my take.
Okay.
I think Ghost is alive if they want him to be alive.
Okay.
If you peep, like, bro, they never showed him like dead. Like they showed the gravesite, but like they showed him in the ambulance. Okay, I'm about to get nerdy. All right. If you peep the last season of Power, right? Peep the
Okay.
last season of Power, and you go back and watch this. What's the one thing that Tommy had all the time? He had a fake ambulance call, fake ambulance truck the whole last season. That was like his thing to like get the little things they were doing. Tommy had one. He most definitely rushed Ghost to the hospital and saved him. I think Ghost is gonna appear in like a okay, I'm getting real nerdy, but I think Ghost is gonna reappear eventually. Either in Tommy's show, is it called Force? Either appear that or he's gonna reappear in Tariq's show. I think it's gonna happen, man. He was too big of a star. They didn't like finalize his death ever. Like they never really like showed him like just
Yeah.
dead. And if you peep, and to anybody watching this and they don't want spoilers, don't listen to what I'm about to say. Turn it off, like fast forward 50 seconds. But like with Lauren dying, she came back next season. Like, come on now. If that's
Yeah.
not more proof
Yeah.
that Ghost might be alive, I don't know, man. And it's just like, look, if ratings were ever down bad, they bring in bro back. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, come on now. I think he's coming back. And I think there's been multiple Instagram lives as a nerd that have been like, "Well, is Ghost alive?" He's coming back, bro.
He's coming back. I
Yeah.
feel it too. I just want to see that interaction because I feel like there's not closure with Tariq and Ghost.
No,
I feel like they just
he'll
need to. I
forever
don't
be
know.
like he'll forever be like dealing with the ghost of his dad. Um, he's coming back, bro. But I don't think it'll ever be like in a full entity. Like I don't know, man. I don't know what they would do, man, because it's just like Tariq's so far down the timeline, and it's his show, so it could never be like Ghost's show again.
Yeah.
Like you can never do that because like Tariq's show now. But I think he's gonna come back, man.
I feel like if they're to bring him back, it would be like later on, like near like the show's end as like maybe like a cameo or something. Like I don't know.
Maybe they, or maybe here's a thought. Maybe like at the end of like Force or like the end of next Force, he comes back and then like it merges with Book Ghost, and then Ghost and Tommy do Force now. Like Force and Tommy are together, you know.
Yeah.
Or maybe Ghost gets his own like third book or something, you know. I wouldn't be surprised, man. He coming back though, man. I believe it. But I'm fully cool with just watching Tariq manage 3 different girls and the drug game. And you know, I'm fully fine with that, man. It's entertaining every single Friday.
Quick question: if you had to choose between the three, Effie, Diana, and Lauren, who's the best option?
If I'm Tariq or
Yeah.
me.
Both.
If I'm Tariq, I'm not picking Lauren. You already saw
Really?
how you. No, definitely not picking Lauren. Come on now, she's a snitch. So I think it's definitely between Diana and Effie, but I think Diana would be willing to do some op stuff to Tariq if need be.
Yeah.
I think Effie truly was, when she was doing some op stuff, looking out in his best interest.
Yeah.
When she was trying to kill Lauren, she was truly doing this for Tariq. Like, I know I'm keeping a secret and I should have told you, but like, I think Effie loved Tariq. And I think Effie can also play the game that Tariq wants to play. And so if you look, I'm a geek about this stuff, man. But if you look at Tariq and you look at him in comparison to Ghost, they're very similar. But Tariq is always wanting to be successful, unlike his dad. So he wants to be able to get out the game, but not be dead. And so that's the goal. But the problem with Ghost was he had a woman that couldn't play both sides with him. And so he had Tasha, who was ready to be the queen of the drug game with him.
Yeah.
He didn't want to get out the game. And then he had Angela, but she wasn't about the life. She doesn't know what he was dealing with. So she was always questioning it. Effie is the perfect merger of both of them, while Effie also wants to get out of the game. And so I believe his best chance of being successful is with Effie. I think Diana is also another great choice, another beautiful woman. But I think, like you saw, like Diana, without even a moment, she was ready to steal Tariq's drugs to get it for her family. You know what I mean? And so I think Diana will forever be a little fling for Tariq, but I think the one is Effie. He's gonna have to end up forgiving her one day and understanding I was killing her for your best interest, you know,
Yeah.
and we're gonna get out of the game together. If I'm me, that's a tough one. Personally, like I don't know, man. I don't want no girl in the game anyway. You feel me? I'm trying to be straight.
Yeah.
But if I would say in the game, probably like Diana. I don't know. Just her personality fits with me. I don't know. Me talking. Every a little rough for me, you
Yeah,
know.
a little bit, a little rough around the edges.
Yeah, like I think Diana, sweetheart. I'd probably pick Diana, but Tariq need to go ahead and just pick Effie. He'll come around.
Yeah.
Unless he has to kill Effie. I don't know.
Or Kane. Kane's also in the mix too. You see
Yeah,
Kane?
Kane about to pull Effie. So
Yeah.
yeah, so
It's good. I can see this little triangle forming. It's gonna be.
it's gonna be crazy. It's perfect because now we're gonna have at least a 4-episode stretch eventually of Kane and Tariq going 1-on-1, trying to kill each other. It's gonna happen.
Oh yeah,
We'll see that happen too.
Won't be interesting. But yeah, but in closing up, closing up now. What to tell the viewers? What is the future for Jamar? Like, what is the future for Jamar? And where can we find you?
Yeah. So the future Jamar is continuously doing what I'm doing day to day. I hit this point in my life where I'm like, okay, I can sustain myself doing the things I love to do. That was the goal. That's what I viewed as success. The rest was just keep doing it, And so you'll continue to see the posts on Instagram. You'll see the Root of Everything podcast and show come along. You'll see the Root of Jamar podcast come out eventually. You'll see the book. That's all a byproduct of me just doing the same thing every day, just doing what I love to do. So you're going to just see this repetitive motion for the rest of my life. Obviously, a wife could come down the table, a kid, whatever down the table, but I'm going to continue always doing the things I love to do. And so, just stay up to date. Follow me at Root of Jamar on my on Instagram. So ROOTOFJAMAR. New ideas are popped in my head every day. So you never know. I could be in Africa tomorrow doing something. But yeah, so the podcast forever, you'll forever see me speaking on this mic. I'll be in your city, who knows when, speaking at a high school in your city. And the book is gonna come. It's coming, man. The book is already written. It's just not written yet. Like it's already happened. All the lessons are already ready. I just got to put them in paragraphs, So, yeah, Root of Jamar, and that has all my links. Rootofjamar.com also has my my speaking demo and how to book me if you ever want me to speak somewhere. Get in contact with me. But Root of Jamar is my Instagram, and that tags to my sports page, my Root of Everything, to everything. So if you find Root of Jamar, you find everything you need to know about me.
100%. I'll link all those stuff down below.
Appreciate it.
That being said, thank you, Jamar, for coming back on. It was a pleasure to have you.
My guy, I appreciate it, man. It's always fun. Another one of my passions is being interviewed. I love it, man. So I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to do that.
100%, 100%. With that being said, we will catch you guys in the next podcast.
For sure.